So for the last like 6 months, I've been using a application called Dehancer through DaVinci Resolve. And I want to do a quick tutorial and some tips and tricks, as well as like just show it off, because I think it's such an important and unique tool for all colorists and cinematographers to have in their toolkit. At a high level, Dehancer is a film emulation tool that allows you to mathematically calculate what film stock you would like to emulate. So this video is sponsored by Dehancer. I've been given access for free as well to this tool, but I was using it prior anyway. They told me I am free to say whatever I would like about this. If you would like, please go check out Dehancer using the link in the description below. I think this is the best tool that you can ever have as a cinematographer slash colorist in DaVinci Resolve in the modern day of film emulating and trying to make things look like they did back when. So I'm actually using it right now in post. This is the Kodak Vision 3 250D stock. So before, what I would normally do is, I would throw on some film grain. I would utilize the Film Look Creator tool in DaVinci Resolve 19, and it would kind of have these generic film stocks that kind of look like Kodak, kind of look like Fuji, but they really wouldn't mathematically calculate and emulate specifics. It would just be sort of like, this is what Kodak generally looks like, here's what their yellow might be. And it was good enough for a while, where I was getting results that I was very happy with. I could do bleach bypasses, I could, calculate what type of film, and is it 35, 65, 8, 16, what ISO is that film, bloom effect, halation effect. But what I was missing was, I want the color and the way the contrast works to be exactly like Kodak Vision 3 250D or Kodak Ektachrome 2017 stock, right? And this is what Dehancer kind of allows you to do. So what I want to do is showcase a few shots and like how I use it in my workflow, as well as any suggestions that you guys may have to better incorporate this into my workflow. I'd love to hear. Just because I wanted to get this out there as a way of saying this is such a useful tool for what we do every day as cinematographers and even colorists. So here's a project I have in Resolve. Super basic thing. I just kind of took some shots and I was just messing around with them. So this was color graded a few months ago when I wasn't using Dehancer. So I'll go into my color tab, and as you can see, I kind of have like a basic node structuring. I have my color space transform, where I take Sony S-Log and gamut 3.cine, and I make it DaVinci wide gamut. All of my projects are always in DaVinci wide gamut because it gives you the broadest, most generic color space to work within. And then my output CST is taking DaVinci wide gamut and DaVinci intermediate and making that a Rec 709 Gamma 2.4, the generic broadcast coloring. So I have just some generic like exposure adjustments, and I always try to shoot it as close to how I would want to color it as I can. And one of the biggest importances in that is making a LUT to shoot to versus shooting to a generic Rec 709 LUT. So the way that I did it for this one is I took a Kodak 35mm film LUT. Again, because I was using the DaVinci Resolve tools, it had to be a generic 35mm film. It wasn't a specific stock yet. So that way, all I have to do is like sort of adjust like what type of highlights I want to bring down and stuff like that. And I really don't want to adjust my white balance ever. You should always have proper white balancing, or roughly what you want to white balance to. So I go along and I don't really do any white balance, no contrast. So then I come up here to my film emulation. Now this is the old way that I was doing it. So this has the Film Look Creator tool. This is built into DaVinci Resolve 19. And what it does is it allows you to have some presets here, but I use custom. So this was where you created your film stock, basically, is these three things. You have your core look, where cinematic is sort of DaVinci Resolves, like this is what film looks like. Rochester, obviously, is Kodak. Akasaka, that is your Fujifilm. And then Elated and Vintage, I don't know if those are supposed to reference something or if those are just, again, sort of generic ones that DaVinci has come up with that look elated. I don't even know what that means. So this is the old way I would do it. Again, it's not really mathematical because there's really only three things that you can change about the film stock look. So let's deactivate that, and I'm gonna bring in Dehancer. So if you scroll down after you install it, it's under its own film emulation tool down here in Resolve. They have specific film profiles that are mathematically calculated to look and feel like the film they came from. I've been a big fan of this Ektachrome 100 2017 version of it, where I think it just gives a beautiful color to it. So what I'll do is I'll choose that. You have the option of like pushing and pulling your film. Again, if you have an exposure node, you just do it in the exposure node. I wouldn't recommend grading anything in here. If you want to, I guess you could. I don't see why you would want that. But if I turn the node on and off, you can see not only is it adjusting the colors, it's also adjusting the contrast ratio to bring it in line with what that film stock might look like. So if you scroll down, you can see Film Developer. So if you enable this, you can, again, boost your contrast, change how, you might bathe the film. I like to do it in a different node again, just because if I'm gonna adjust the contrast, I want it to be in its separate node, minutely different versus in the same node as all the other film stuff going on. Film compression, I haven't really played around with this one too much, but it sort of adjusts your white point, tonal ranges, stuff like that. Obviously, like it says right there, color density. So you could adjust more minutely, like how much of the film effect on the color you want. I don't really touch it. I don't particularly touch these two. So the film grain, halation, and bloom effects are where I think this really does shine more, where you're able to more minutely adjust your film grain. Before in DaVinci, you had the choice of 8, 16, 35, and 65, but it wasn't with specific ISOs in mind. So obviously, if I come down and I do a 500 ISO 8mm, it's gonna look very grainy. But if I do a 50mm Super 35, the grain will be there, but it's less noticeable, a little more filmic, and more like what you see on the big screen. So it gives you a lot of options to adjust some stuff. The halation effect is, again, you can 8, 16, Super 35, 65. It allows you to adjust depending on what halation you want to mirror. Bloom, same thing. Film damage, this is where it kind of adds in some of those pops, speckles, damage kind of effects, and it does it really tastefully. I don't think it overwhelms your visuals, like sometimes with those stock film damage effects, like it goes a little crazy. As well as like gate weaving, like if you want to have a little bit of that movement, and you can adjust it all in an impact sliding basis too. So all of these things that I've showed you so far, you can adjust how much and how little you want. There's a lot of other stuff in here, but I don't want to get, these are the things that I use most. I don't want to dive too deep into stuff that I don't particularly use all the time. This is the biggest thing, the LUT generator. I know I'm saying this is the biggest thing, but this is actually the biggest thing. The LUT generator tool is fantastic. So what I could do is I could take this, I can export a LUT, shoot in camera with that LUT in mind, so I can better know, yes, this is the style that I'm trying to get. Always shoot to a LUT, always. Because if you're shooting to a generic Rec 709 profile and you pull it in here, you're never going to be exposed or white balanced, or your background colors are going to look totally different than what you want. Always shoot to the LUT you want for that project. Maybe you're trying to do a Rec 709 project, then just shoot to the Rec 709 LUT. But example with this, I didn't shoot this one to the Ektachrome E100 LUT. If I did, it would look as if it should, versus if I shot it to this Kodak 35mm LUT. So the fact that you can export any of these mathematically calculated film LUTs is fantastic. It's changed my workflow where I'm able to more minutely get exactly what I want out of this experience and out of these projects. Overall, I hope this video helped a little bit. I want to just kind of give a speed run through. If you would like, please go check out Dehancer using the link in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.